Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Professor, and I am here to be your guide through the wild and mysterious world of the Feral Druid PvP. First things first, we're going to talk about stats and gear. Some pretty important crap right there. Our main stat is agility, for the reason that it gives us a bunch of attack power and crit chance, and we love crit chance, and we love attack power, because it just makes us do more damage. Next thing you want after agility is you want your hit and your expertise cap. You're not going to try very hard for this because in PvP you'll need 3% of each, and I'm way overcapped on both of them, and I haven't put much effort into it. It's just, I've reforged out of hit actually and expertise, like pretty much whatever I can. It comes naturally with your gear, that expertise and hit cap. Past that, you're going to be looking for mastery, because mastery just increases your bleeds, and that's where most of your damage is going to come from. Bleeds are huge. That's what we do as feral druids, because that's going to be our big, consistent damage output there is our bleeds. Crit is a nice, solid second place for the secondary stats, though. Because crit, obviously, if you crit, you do more damage. As feral druids, though, it also gives us an extra combo point, which is really cool, and it procs your leader of the pack heal, which is a 4% heal every time you crit, with like a 6-second internal cooldown or something to that effect. Don't worry about haste. Actually, reforge out of haste all the time. Haste just increases your energy regen a little bit, which could seem fancy to some of you new ferals who are still having trouble with rage, energy starvation. But I seriously, I do like wanna say that you will grow out of that. If you just keep trying, you'll start to learn how to efficiently use your energy, and you won't really have to worry about getting starved. The only other thing haste would do for you is increase your attack speed, which, look, that's already pretty fast. We don't need to buff that very much. Next thing we can talk about, that's glyphs. We can talk about talents, though. On your first tier, feline swiftness does actually nothing for you, because your 2-piece bonus already does that. Increase it by 15% movement speed. Does not stack. Don't take feline swiftness. Displacer Beast is a really great getaway if you're a Boomkin or a Resto, but really not very helpful for us as Feral Druids, because Wild Charge is going to be much better, because as a Feral Druid we can use it as a gap closer in cat form, we can use it to root the enemy if we charge him in bear form, we can use it to get away, leap forward 20 yards there in travel form, or it makes us swim real fast too, so definitely take Wild Charge. The next tier you have a little bit of a choice here. Renewal sucks. Don't take Renewal. That 30% heal with Battle Fatigue becomes like 12% every 2 minutes, and that's terrible. Ysera's Gift is really nice. I take it all the time because it's a passive heal, and passive, that obviously just means that I don't have to do any work to get this heal to work for me. And I know that if I can get away from my enemy for long enough, I will eventually hit 100% health again without having to cast a heal myself. If I have Ysera's Gift, I can just run away, and in a couple, given a period of time, I will be back at 100%, and he'll still be chasing me, and I'll be at 100% health, ready to fight again. Cenarian Ward is a great proactive heal, though, and if you don't feel like it's going to put too much of a strain on you to use it, you could totally use it. It works really well. When you put it on yourself, if you take damage after you've put the buff up, it turns into a hot for 6 seconds. It's on a 30-second cooldown. The best way to get your best efficiency out of this heal is to use it on cooldown while you're getting attacked. Or you put the nice thing about Cenarian Ward, though, is you can also cast it on a teammate who is in need. For your next tier, Fairy Swarm is pretty bland. I don't take it. You can if you want, but again, really bland, very boring. Mass Entanglement, pretty interesting one. You could use it to root an entire enemy team, which can be helpful in an arena. It's great in an RBG. It can be helpful in Arena, but not quite as helpful as Typhoon, because Typhoon is really, really dynamic. It's a knockback, and knockbacks are great because they create separation, they put distance between a healer and his DPS, and another great thing is if somebody pops their Aura Mastery and they're healing, or a Warlock is trying to cast a Chaos Bolt into your face with his big demon backpack on, I forget what it's called, you can't Skull Bash him. And you can't interrupt it, but you can Typhoon them and knock them back, and it breaks the cast, and it's awesome, because they don't see it coming, and it really is great. So I like Typhoon. Your next line, this is really going to help you out with your damage. Soul of the Forest, if you really can't move past your energy starvation, you haven't, and you feel like you need a crutch for it, Soul of the Forest will work for you. But it's not necessarily just a crutch. I mean, the 4 energy per combo point that it grants you is really nice. It helps you get a little better consistent damage going. It's really great in PvE. But for PvP, I think that what our class needs is a little bit of burst, and our talents will help us with that. With Incarnation. Incarnation allows us to just spam Ravage for 30 seconds, and Ravage does a bunch of damage. So, I take Incarnation because it works in really well with a lot of classes that you might play with their burst. Say you want to play with a mage or a hunter. You want to work in with their burst and add burst on top of their burst, and that's what Incarnation does for you. Force of Nature is really great for peeling or kiting or whatever, because the treants will come out and they'll root whoever you put them on. They don't do very much damage themselves, though, really. They don't. They apply a rake, but it's weak as hell, okay? I mean, their rake bleeds like... They're like noodles. It's like you're firing noodles off at the enemy, and no one's afraid of noodles. Your level 75 talents are all about CC. Ursul's Vortex, not very good for Feral. In an RPG, it might have its uses, so don't toss it out completely. But in an arena, you're going to want either Mighty Bash, because it's just a flat stun, which is great. But if you're playing with a class who has a lot of stuns themselves, like a mage, and you don't want to screw up his DR for his Deep Freeze, right? That's why I take Disorienting Roar. It's just a little more conscientious than everybody else, because there aren't that many Disorients. So it's not really gonna push a DR with anything, and it's an AOE. It's an AOE CC as well, which really can be great. It also, has its uses as an interrupt. But what I like about Disorienting Roar is if you're trying to get a Cyclone off on a healer or something, and you can kind of just get near enough to him to Disorienting Roar, and then Cyclone him, and he can't do anything about the Cyclone because he's disoriented, or he'll be dumb enough to trinket the disorient or whatever. Anyway, your next tier of talents, I like Heart of the Wild because it's a flat. 6% increase to stamina, agility, and intellect, and then it allows me to spend 45 seconds of my time being a resto druid, which I can use to save the lives of my teammates in 2s or 3s, depending on the situation. Dream of Cenarius is really good, but it adds some complication to your game, which you don't really want to overcomplicate things for yourself in PvP. You seriously want to keep a simple game so you can stay alive as best you can. So that's what you want in PvP, stay alive, and keep things simple. But I mean, it can be good. It can give you a lot of extra damage. The worst part of it, though, I think, is that to maximize the damage increase that it'll give you, you have to hold off on some of your Pred Swiftness heals, and that's not always an option for a Feral Druid. So, I mean, you could end up kind of wasting a talent point with this one if you don't use it properly. Nature's Vigil is also a really solid choice. I mean, they're all really solid choices. But Nature's Vigil can also has really good uses because it adds a little bit of burst to your damage phase if you want that, and then it also provides passive off healing for 30 seconds. All the damage you do kind of heals your team. So that has a lot of great uses. Going for glyphs now. The Glyph of Savagery is nuts good. Okay, it's so great because it allows you to Savage Roar with 0 combo points. So it means that you can keep up Savage Roar always without a problem. You never have an excuse to have Savage Roar off. Because, seriously, you have to have Savage Roar up all the time. It is a 40% damage increase, and if you let it fall off, you have just essentially popped a shield wall for the other team. Because now you're doing 40% less damage. And you're helping them out. You're helping the other team win if you don't have Savage Roar on. So fucking put Savage Roar on. Next we have our Glyph of Cat Form, which is a beautiful glyph. Increases healing done to you by 20% while in cat form, which is pretty awesome, because you're going to be doing a lot of healing to yourself with your Pred Swiftness healing touches, right? So that's an extra 20% on that. Why not take that? And an extra 20% from any other heal that comes across you. So really do take it. The third glyph, if you watch me stream, you'll see that I switch out a lot, though. I use the Glyph of Prowl a lot, because I do like it, just because I like to go fast. And it allows you to have a really easy time setting up wherever you want, however you want, from your opener. And it also just decreases the chances of you getting caught out of stealth, because that's something that can happen, right? And it sucks every time it happens. But if you do watch me stream, you'll see that I swap this out for the Glyph of Barkskin a lot, because this is also really good for a defensive glyph, or the Glyph of Ferocious Bite, just because it adds extra healing sometimes, which is great. Next, let's talk about some macros. I don't use a ton of them, and I will put some of them up in the description for you to check out. Oh, don't want to pick that up. Anyway, but just, a brief run-through of macros. I've got the Might of Ursoc macro, because it'll pop my health stone in there if I have one, and if I've taken renewal, but if I felt particularly foolish one day and I took renewal, it'll add the heal into the Might of Ursoc. Don't take renewal, seriously. This is just a standard burst macro. You have to if you take Incarnation, you have to use it with Berserk, because Berserk effectively doubles the amount of Ravages you can get off with your incarnation, and that's crazy good. I also pop Nature's Vigil in there and my engineering gloves. This is just a quick shift mod macro for Skull Bash, which means that if I hit the shift key, I will Skull Bash my focus target, and if I don't, I'll hit my main target. I've done the same thing for for Cyclone, and I've done the same thing for Entangling Roots. This is just a crazy little modified macro to throw Pred Swiftness heals at my party, Party 1, Party 2, or myself, depending on what key I use. So those are pretty nice. I'll throw those up for templates for you if you want to use shift mod and stuff like that. And now I can talk a little bit about doing damage as a Feral Druid. Your main points of damage are your bleeds. That would be Rake, which is a combo point builder and a bleed that needs to be up at all times, and Rip, which is a finishing move and a bleed that needs to be up at all times. Again, Savage Roar is your top priority. Second priority is, as far as finishing moves go, Savage Roar first. Okay, that needs to be up before anything else. Your next finishing move, though, next best finishing move is going to be Rip. That's where your most of your combo points are going to go, really. Make sure you keep Rake on as well, though. As far as building combo points, though, most of the time you're going to be using Shred. You need to get behind your target to Shred because, Shred does more damage than Mangle. The only time you're using Mangle is if you're in some crazy situation where you physically cannot be behind your enemy, then you can use Mangle. But any other time, you want to use Shred, because it does an extra 20% damage to a bleeding target. And you know what? Against a Feral Druid, every target is a bleeding target. So that's 20% more damage. Don't turn away, don't turn your nose up at 20% damage because you don't feel like walking behind somebody. That's a ton more damage. Also, keep Fairy Fire on all the time, particularly if you're fighting another Stealthy, but against anybody it's really helpful because it's a 12% armor decrease. It's really good against a Plate Wearer, and it's still pretty good, though, against, even a Mage, because if you decrease their armor, you just do more damage to them. It's that simple. Whether they're wearing plate or cloth, more damage is more damage. So, use it and do more damage. Ferocious Bite. You will only really use if you are super keen on pushing a kill and you already have up Savage Roar and there's already a really good duration of Rip and, all the stars aligned, you can Ferocious Bite. Okay? But don't do it too much, unless you have the Glyph. If you have the Glyph, it actually moves up in priority, but using the Glyph is a pretty special case. And then there's Maim. And then there was Maim. Maim is good. Maim is a nice stun. It does some damage. If you need to stun a target, and there's a lot of times that you need to stun somebody, it's a good CC, and stunning is a pretty solid defensive tool as well. If somebody pops, if a warrior pops cooldowns in your face, and you stun him, he's kind of pissed off about that. So, use your stun effectively. Maim is a stun. It is our kidney shot. Use it. Why not, right? They use it. Let's use it. Tiger's Fury is great. If you have less than 35 energy, you should use Tiger's Fury. You kind of want to use Tiger's Fury on cooldown, because if you have, if you're hovering around the 30 energy range, Tiger's Fury will max out your energy without capping you, and wasting any regen, and it increases damage done by 15%. Who the hell doesn't want that, right? It's great. Really great. Pounce. If you've popped Incarnation, now this is when we move into a nice little burst phase. You pop Incarnation on somebody in Berserk. You're going to Ravage a lot. Another thing you're going to do in Incarnation, though, is Pounce, because now it becomes an easy stun you could use whenever you feel like. You can Pounce a healer while you're Incarnated. The same way that a rogue who is Shadow Dance can run around and cheap shot the whole team, when you've Incarnated, you can run around and Pounce the entire team. Do it. Really do it. It's very effective. That's kind of it for dealing damage. Just the main points of that are keep up your bleeds, keep up your Savage Roar, and burst when you feel like you could definitely get a kill. That's, don't waste your burst, because it's super, you need it. It's super effective, it's super helpful. So don't waste it. Let's talk a little about CC. Your main CC is Cyclone. Cyclone can only be trinketed. It can't be dispelled, it can't be, you can't pop an immunity and get out of it. Only trinkets can get out of Cyclone. And they can't be damaged out of it, they can't be healed through it. It's really excellent. You could use it, for so many things, so make use. It's a great peel. You could use it to stop a healer and kill a guy. Really, really great. Entangling Roots is a great tool for peeling for your teammates, because it roots them. It roots the enemy. It's great. Disorienting Roar is another really solid CC. You could use Disorienting Roar to help you get Cyclones off, too, which is a pretty sweet tactic. And Typhoon can be used sort of as a CC. Depends on the map. Like, say you're on the map with the bridge. Blade's Edge? Is it Blade's Edge? I think it's Blade's Edge. The map with the bridge, though. You can knock somebody off the bridge with Typhoon. If you knock the healer off the bridge, you've kind of boned the DPS who is now stuck up there with you. You know what I mean? So, try and use your Typhoons well, because they can be pretty helpful. Another big part of playing a Feral Druid is kiting. And kiting for us pretty much means, well, for anybody, it means you're running away from the other person, right? For a Feral Druid, your first move when you want to kite is Nature's Grasp, because now anything that touches you gets rooted. And then you might want to dash, right? Because you can start getting away real quick. Or if you don't have dash up, you travel form and just leap away. Maybe you pop Stampeding Roar. And a big part of playing a Feral Druid, you can't be snared or rooted. I mean, you can be, but then you just quickly pop in and out of a shapeshift, and it's gone. And you're just as fast as you were before. Use your speed to your advantage. It's a huge part of playing a Feral Druid is being fast. So be fast. Use it. Yeah. Well, then there is Symbiosis. Always Symbiosis somebody. Just it gives you an extra ability. The strongest targets for you to Symbiosis would be either a Paladin. Oh, not even, because they get Rebirth. But you get Bubble, so whatever. Well, that's pretty great. But if you Symbiosis a Priest healer, they get Cyclone while you get Dispersion. So that's pretty huge for both of you. So, look up a Symbiosis chart, figure out who you want to, give it to, and give it to them. It's a nice present for anybody. Defensively, we've got Barkskin, which is fantastic. You could use it while CC'd, and it's a 20% damage reduction. And if you, use the glyph, it reduces crit chance as well. That's pretty solid. Heart of the Wild turns you into Jesus Healer, who, you can cast heals without costing any mana, and that's sick. Survival Instincts, 50% damage reduction. Nuff said. If you're taking a lot of damage, and then you pop Survival Instincts, you're not taking a lot of damage anymore. That's how that works. Another really super valid defense that I see a lot of Feral Druids overlook is Throw Up Bear Form, man. It increases your armor to about an extra 20% physical damage reduction. Also, it increases your health. It's a serious, it's good. And it gives you an easy heal. If you pop in Bear Form and you fight, now you can generate Rage and Frenzied Regen heal, because those are some pretty big heals you get off with that thing, man. So use it. Also, if you're getting trained, you might want to use Might of Ursoc, because look how much health I have now. That's a lot. That's a lot of health for anybody to go through. Okay? So know your defensives and use them. Yeah, another big thing for you, and that I really recommend anybody do on any class, but read all of your abilities. I can explain... I've explained a lot, and I could explain all of them to you, but you really should read them all yourself and know what everything does, because the best way to be good at PvP is to know your class inside and out. Know what you can do and know what you cannot do, because if you die too much, you might not know your limitations. You have to understand your class to know if you're trying to take a node in Arathi Basin, and you see somebody, and you see, like, a warrior and a healer. And, as a Feral Druid, I could see that, and then think of a few ways where I could make that fight work for me. I can make that 2v1 work. But not every class has the ability, you know what I mean? So know your limitations. And the best way to do that is to know your class inside and out. So read all of your abilities, your passives particularly. Understand what procs you're understand what's going to happen when you use all of your abilities. That's the best way to be good at PvP. As far as surviving on a Feral Druid, though, beside your defensive, use your Pred Swiftness heals, like, all the time. Don't wait till you're low. As soon as you get Predatory Swiftness, use your heal. If you're not at 100% health, use it, and then you're at 100% health. It's that simple. It's pretty great. Again, your speed cooldowns are really indispensable for you. Talk a little about professions. I take engineering because engineering is rad, and I also take enchanting, because enchanting makes a lot of money, and that's not really helpful for your stats. But you also get to enchant your rings, though, so that's good. You enchant the rings for an extra 320 agility, which is the same as blacksmiths get 320 agility from the gem slots, and a jewel crafter gets, I think, also 320 agility from his jewel crafter's gems. Same damn thing, though. Same damn thing, and engineering also makes money to boot. So, think about that. I like it. I think it's cool. As far as race choice goes, choosing and race roll bonuses are not going to make or break your game. So I play a Tauren. I get War Stomp and some extra health. Is that the best I could have had? Maybe not. But I like being a Tauren. So I'm happy now. Be happy with your decisions. Okay. So if you feel that I've not covered something, or you have some kind of question that needs clearing up, or anything like that, you can seriously feel free to comment on the video, obviously, or shoot me a message on YouTube, and I will get back to you with an answer to your question, to the best of my ability. Don't answer, I might not be able to explain to you what the meaning of life is, but I can maybe give you some insight to any kind of Feral Druid questions that you might have. That being said, thank you for watching. I hope that I've been helpful to you. Yeah, I will see you all around, and shoot me a message, if seriously. Alright. Later, everybody.